Well, thank you, Jamal. That was excellent. That was very, very good. And get your thinking caps on because we want to hear from you as well. But that's when you and I met a couple years ago, that you were actually probably on the business case for Raptor, as you were talking about. How did you usher that through? 4 times you said it was canceled? That takes a lot of passion, a lot of understanding.
Yeah, and I think, as the kind of the lesson I learned was that, the environment that we live in and work in can be very, very turbulent at times. And so, we always had a vision, but we were never married to the steps to get to that vision. And I think we were flexible. And as things came, we kind of adjusted our business plan or the product plan a little to address that issue.
How many people were on your team right there?
We probably developed the Raptor with a team of about 30 people.
That's amazing, 30 people. And again, you mentioned some of the SEMA companies along the way, like Fox Shocks, and getting the SEMA company like Fox working with the production crew at Ford and getting the quality management, everything to par, so that literally to build 5 an hour now.
Yeah.
I just saw last week, I think, that Raptor sales are soaring. I mean, that's fantastic. To me, the Raptor is a great example, as many of the others showed, of the marriage between the SEMA community and the OEM community working together, because the consumer wins in the end. It raises the bar for everybody. And again, some of the other programs. But I want to go back to what Doug said, that getting paid for what you would do anyway. I mean, you're obviously a car crazy guy, which is fantastic. And I think having people like that and having an opportunity, a platform, a career within a company like Ford to do that, and getting the results that you have with Raptor and the Shelby GT500, et cetera, that's got to make you really proud.
It does. It makes me proud of the team that we have, not only here in America, but also in Europe now. And it's been interesting and challenging to meld European and American philosophies on performance vehicles together. And I think when the kind of the recipe or the DNA that we've come out with as a result of that kind of cross-pollination has been really gives us a unique advantage that I can't think of any other manufacturer in the world that has really combined cultural, multi-continent teams together in their product development philosophy.
Yeah, well, the World Rallycross and then becoming Global Rallycross that you mentioned, and Ford jumped into that at the beginning, and we heard Colin Dine here yesterday talk about that. Red Bull will be the title sponsor for Global Rallycross 2014. That's pretty darn cool, but I know you jumped right into that immediately with that. You mentioned the Ford Octane Academy, and then if you get, a Fiesta RS, that you get a chance to go to that. How many folks have watched Octane Academy? I think it's on the Fuel channel, or really cool stuff. But that's your chance to, what do you call it, your inner Ken Block?
Yeah.
Bring that out. I mean, that's got to be fun work.
Ken Block.
Yeah, that's cool. How many folks have seen Ken Block's Gymkhana, some of the videos? That thing went viral so fast. That's cool. I mean, there's got to be more things like that coming from you as well. I mean, because obviously SVT doesn't stand still.
Yeah, it's 2 things really precipitated the relationship that we have with Miller Motorsports Park. The first one was, we did the Boss Track Attack program when we launched the Boss 302. And that was a fairly traditional track school. But then, we started selling all these Raptors, and so many new off-roaders started buying Raptors and really going high speed across desert trails and things. And we definitely saw that there was a teaching opportunity that needed to happen. And so then that's when we added the Raptor driving school to that. And now just, we're kind of, now with the Fiesta ST and Focus ST, we're adding that. So like all these different genres of performance vehicles where, there's kind of, there's that diversity in our car lineup. You see that diversity in the racing car equivalent,
yes.
And that now also that diversity in the performance driving school lineup. And it's not unlike the diversity you see out in the halls here. You see, crazy diversity.
Oh yeah, and we were walking the show with Neil Young when he came in, brought the vehicle in on Monday, and the way I best summarize is that he's looking at things. They're all different interpretations of what that person thinks is cool. and that's as diverse as you can get. I mean, when you look around all the 2,000 or so vehicles here at SEMA, they all have their own personality, just as we all do. And I think that's to see that manifested in a product. And you said it very well. It starts with the product and then builds the brand, and that trust that you have with the consumer, that social contract, and the product has to live up to that. Any questions from the audience? If you would, please use the microphone. That way we can all hear it. You mentioned that the SVT as a brand. So you're just, I mean, like the Mustang is a brand, the Fusion's a brand. SVT is almost, it goes across the car and the truck lines as well. How do you do that?
Well, it does and it doesn't. You know, we, like a Fiesta ST, that had a very strong brand. RS has very strong European, you know, we've been making RSs in Europe since the 70s.
Really?
And so that, you know, we chose for small Focus Fiesta BC size cars. We felt that brand, something that had been associated with rallying since, you know, the late 60s, early 70s, that touches that rally driver or that rally enthusiast much more than an SVT brand ever could, and that's why we chose. That's why we choose to brand our Focus and Fiesta line as STs and RSs.
But you go across those divisions working with them, right? Those models.
Absolutely. There's one engineering and development team behind that.
Okay.
And it's a collection of performance brands.
Yeah, you mentioned like the serendipity of like the wheel tailgates you talked about, or the tire carriers. And seeing that here, how do you get some of the SEMA folks here, some of these companies, back to Dearborn to present, or what are some of the platforms that they can have access to some of your product plans?
Well, you bring them into town all the time.
Yeah, I try to. Well, we try to open doors for you, the SEMA members. I remember one meeting with Wilfred Eibach in particular. That
absolutely.
And again, that's for you as well. That's the benefit of working with SEMA, being a SEMA member, getting the opportunities to do that and meet people like Jamal and his great team. Any questions? Cool. Wow. Either you got it all or you're waiting for the recording. I don't know. But, cool. Making small cars cool. Oh, you have a question? Very good. Yeah, please do. Yeah. This is your chance to interact with Jamal. Do it.
So with your guys' great lineup and targeting all different types of consumers, have you guys thought about tapping into the all-wheel drive turbo market that currently the Impreza and the Lancer Evolution are dominating, so to say?
Yeah, actually, we think about that all the time.
Okay, because I just noticed that the ST would be a great base for it. So yeah, just kind of seeing if you guys had thought about that or had plans to make something like that for consumers like us.
Yeah, you know, the thing about all-wheel drive that we struggle with, that I think whoever manages, all-wheel drive is awesome as a traction aid device to go in a straight line. From a vehicle dynamics, no one has really, all the all-wheel drive cars that we've driven, save for I think except one, the GTR does a really good job of this. Of, you know, when you start applying throttle, they start understeering massively, and no one has really made a fun-to-drive all-wheel drive car, something that is tuned more like a rally car than a road car. And like all the differentials out there, like all these Haldex differentials, they're very much traction focused versus yaw control focused, and so that's a challenge. We don't think anyone's hit the nail on the head yet.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Oh, right here, Robert Egger.
How you doing?
Hi. Good.
Quick question. When you come up with a big challenge, a big problem you can't solve, who wins, the designers or the engineers?
Well, you know, that's a funny question. That's one that when people ask me, what do you do? Like, explain to me what you do. And what I tell them is, I mediate a religious war every day between engineers and designers. And it is. It's, you know, my philosophy is that both camps bring a lot to the table, and you have to know when to listen to each camp. And if you listen exclusively to the engineers you're going to make a dull, dull, dull car. And if you listen exclusively to the designers, it's going to be the sexiest car you've ever seen. It's going to be so expensive you can't sell any of them, and you probably can't see out of it either.
Wow, you're like a politician.
But it really is. It's again, it's like having that vision and knowing when to listen and, to each camp to navigate your way to deliver the vision. And it's, there's been times when the engineers win, and there's times when the designers win.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What about the bean counters? Where do they?
No, you always got to keep the bean counters happy.
Yeah. Yeah, to me, you got the left brain, again, probably the engineers, the right brain, the designers and stylists, et cetera. And then the bean counters, they're kind of left and right is whole brain. They are no brain. They come in after the war and beat up the dead. But you need them.
They actually, for us, they're very present before, during, and after.
Yeah, they got to be. You got to make money.
We're holding to our budgets
the
and
selling
things
Monday,
like that. Yeah,
that's cool. Years ago, and particularly for Detroit, not so much Europe, small cars. Could Detroit make a small car? I mean, one of the first was the Neon. Actually, the early Fiestas that came from Europe back in the 80s. I had one living in California. Great little car, lasted 6 months. Come a long, long way. But when you look at that, the challenge to Detroit when the Fiesta came out was, can Detroit make small cars cool? And the Fiesta did that in spades. And the fact that you're making the Fiesta even cooler with GRC and what you're doing with the RS, that is a small car that as kids just are attracted to. Might be their first car for many of them, right?
Yeah, and I mean, I'll give a lot of credit in this country to Mini because they really showed this country that small cars can be cool and fun. But all along we used to get hate mail like every single week on why can't I have that European Focus? Why can't I have that European? I want it here. I want it here. I want it here. So now finally, we're bringing all the good, the best stuff.
Yep.
We're developing performance cars globally. So, anything the Europeans get, the Americans get. So thank God the hate mail has finally stopped.
Yeah. Your title reflects that from chief engineer, nameplate engineer for SVT to global performance product director. That's fantastic. That tells you the Ford won, right? The Allen's.
It is. It's really been a game changer when you develop a car for a global market, for 40 markets globally. The volume that you have so much more. You don't engineer on different continents and regions. You can spend so much more of your money on content and less on engineering, and you have such a volume of a scale of volume because of those 40 global markets that a car like a Fiesta ST, we'd never, if we didn't do it on a global scale, there's no way we could have ever made the business case work to bring that car here to America.
Wow, that's cool. Where do you get your ideas from? We'll be talking about that and some of the folks we got in the next forum, but where do some of the ideas come from? Hey, we really need to do this, just like your inspiration for the Raptor. What's the next, I don't know what, that you're going to do? I mean, obviously not product plans. Ideas come from anywhere and everywhere. It's life experiences like Raptor. I had been an off-road racing engineer for a trophy truck team for 8 years, and we spent 8 years in the desert in Baja, California, talking about our ultimate pre-runner truck that why can't an OEM just do this? It's so straightforward. And so that's where that idea came from. And some of the cars that we do, like a Shelby GT500, no one ever thought that it would be a good idea to make a Mustang that went 200 miles an hour or had 662 horsepower. But there's a competitive spirit to beat everyone else. Absolutely.
To have the biggest stick on the block. That's another deep thing that we live and die by sometimes.
So maybe we'll see something like a Hot Rod Lincoln. I mean, I like the song.
We're going to stick with the
car.
Ford product for a while.
Okay, Hot Rod Lincoln. Oh, Cadillac's trying to get in there with some of it, but we'll see some racing Lincoln somewhere. John, please.
Yeah, I have a quick question. John Stewart, SEMA News. So where do you go from here? Have you exhausted the possibilities, all the niches that you want to be in? And if you have, does that mean that in X amount of years you'll concentrate on upgrading, making the existing niches that you own better and staying ahead of the curve? And if whatever you do, how does that involve SEMA companies and manufacturers who are here all under one roof?
Good.
Well, the answer is we're not even close to reaching the limit. One of the most difficult parts of my job is not being able to talk about what we're working on now. But if you think the stuff that we have out today is good, seriously, you haven't seen anything yet. Come find me in 2015. And so there's still plenty of gold to be mined, plenty. And, you know, what I always came to SEMA for personally was there's so many companies and manufacturers and ideas out here, people that are developing products for a fraction of the cost that a high volume Ford supplier would ever be able to develop that product for. So that's what we go, you know, we're mining gold in those halls as we speak.
Oh, I think you're going to beat Jamie, your colleague Jamie. Jamie has a quote that SEMA is basically the intersection of cars and cars culture. I mean, literally does that pretty good, but I like that. Mining gold in these halls. That's pretty cool. Any last questions? We good?
What happened to the compact pickup?
The Ranger.
Yeah.
We still make it.
Yeah, but it's not compact anymore.
It's not. No, it's, you know, that thing, that phenomena has happened to a lot of vehicles, even to the Focus, where a Focus used to be the size of a Fiesta, and now they've grown. And it's just, you know, people wanting more features, more room, and it's just they've kind of grown. So, you know, we still make a Ranger globally, not in America. But that's, you know, like a Tacoma has gotten big. A Ranger is a pretty large vehicle. So I think it's just customers just continually want more and more and more. And that just kind of builds upon one another.
Okay, cool. Last question. What's in your garage? What do you drive? Daily, or what do you save for the Dream Cruise on Woodward?
I drive a 2014 Shelby GT500 in Detroit as a daily driver, and which reminds me it's time to put my winter tires on. I drive it up to 6 inches of snow.
Whoa.
And anything above 6 inches of snow, I get the Raptors out.
Rear-wheel drive, that's cool. Well, I can't thank you enough, Jamal. Thank you very much.
John,
On a little
pleasure to be here.
little token of it.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you all for being here. Fantastic, buddy. Wonderful. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks. Okay, great.